Yeah, well, Brian, you have clearly a very extensive background in your filmmaking and the different types that you've done. So, but why film training? Why is film training so important?
So when I came to ITEC, my job was to document the trainings, right? So we were doing medical and dental and optometry at the time, and mechanical. And I didn't think that film training was anything that we would be doing. It was never on my radar until I went to Ecuador. I think it was the second time I went to a training. There was this young guy that saw me filming, and he had a lot of questions about my camera and what I was doing and how I was doing it. And then he said, I have some videos I made. Could you show me? And so he came back with this huge iMac under his arm. It's like, where'd you get that?
Like a full desktop.
A full desktop. Yeah, came, put it down, and he showed me these little films he'd made. And I was like, man, these are pretty good. But he wanted some pointers about, more how to get his camera work better, some more, tips and tricks on editing. And then he brought friends in that had the same questions. And so I went to Gallo, who's the director of ITEC Ecuador. And I said, Gallo, I know we're doing these other trainings, is film training like something that, you see that would be profitable for the people in your community? He's like, absolutely. And so we went down and did our first training in 2014 in Ecuador. And so basically the why is that we want to give them another tool for their toolbox to share the gospel. And we do it through medical and dental, but we can also do it through film and story. And so just like we have access to social media and YouTube and Vimeo and all these different places, they have the same access as we do. And so we want to help them get on an even playing field through media and using video to tell stories. But not just any stories. We want them to tell, stories of redemption, stories of people's, how they came to know Christ. Because you can invite somebody to a church, but they may never enter the doors. But if you share a video on social media, more than likely, if they know you, they'll watch the video. And so we want them to use that as a door opener.
That's so cool. And what's that statistic we saw recently? Over 80% of the world's population owns a mobile device, and that's what you're using to capture these films, right, in the training. Yeah,
so our training has evolved over time. So our first training in Ecuador, we went and we took down the equipment that we had. So we had some nice DSLRs, we had film, we had light kits, we brought all our tripods, just anything, sliders, anything we brought. And we learned quickly that we don't need to do that. So we let one of the teams who were shooting their films from the class borrow our DSLR, and it was baptized there in the the river there in Shell. So we learned we need to put them on an even playing field of the same device. And so we started off with iPad minis. Because they had decent cameras, and then you can edit on them. Mm-hmm. But now most everyone has their own smartphone. So with a smartphone, again, you can film and you can edit with it, and they already have it. They already have access to it. And so so that's what we want to do. We want to teach them how to use the phones in their pockets as a media and storytelling tool.
Right. I mean, anybody could push record on their phone, but there's an art to telling a story, and so not only telling the story, but how to make the most of the camera they have in their hand.
Right, yeah. Like you said, most of us are taking pictures every day. I mean, just about every day I'm taking a picture or a video. I don't use it like most people. It's just something just to capture that moment in time.
Right.
But we want to teach them how to take that, and by teaching them cinematography and by teaching them editing, we want to teach them how to be able to tell a complete story that someone can watch and gain something from it, not just a snapshot, but an entire story.